Okay, it's now 3 o'clock. We're going to wait another 5 minutes, everybody, for other people to jump on. There should be a Q&A box down at the bottom. So I've had chats with some of you about things you might want to know about Amazon. I think, Hannah, you linked, you sent me something over this morning just saying that what you were talking about and what you were interested in, which is pretty much everything by the sounds of it. If anyone else has a burning question that they'd like us to cover, do put that in the chat, in the Q&A, excuse me, at the bottom. And I think the questions can be anonymous, so don't feel like no question is stupid to ask.
I guess recently Amazon and kind of people starting to jump on the opportunity, Eloise, of Amazon yet, or is it still people quite slow to the party?
I think that the last few weeks have concentrated people's minds wonderfully on the opportunities for e-commerce, and I'm sure you've been speaking to people as well that had a website that was dormant or not really working for them because they were concentrating on other sales channels. Yeah,
definitely. Like the as we've said and spoke about before, essentially the proposition, once it may have been fit for purpose once upon a time, now we're getting to a point where they're like, crumbs, this has happened, nobody expected it, we probably weren't prepared for it. And I think that's the biggest thing I've found. And clients have been really open and honest, right? And prospects have just been like, look, we didn't see this coming and we probably weren't in the position we should have been. Now, what do we do to play catch up? And actually what people are starting to understand is, while horrific, it's of course giving people a massive opportunity to take some time, sit down and go, crumbs, we should have been doing this stuff ages ago. This is stuff that we're missing a trick here. And I guess you found the same.
Absolutely. Hi Brian, thanks for your message. I just tried to answer on the Q&A and then completely failed, but great to see you again. Hi Julia, thanks for jumping on. Great to see you there. Hi Andrew, good to see you, thanks for jumping on. We're going to wait again another few minutes for those of you who are here. Nathan and I are just shooting the breeze. It's like you've disturbed us in the middle of a conversation, but I hope that's good, right? Because it's the type of thing that that I think a lot of us are facing at the moment is, oh, suddenly there's an opportunity. What have I done with my marketing assets to respond to that opportunity?
How have you found that's been received, Eloise, with others? Because I guess one of the big challenges we've had is that there seems to be a very fine line, right, between when you can take it to market and when you're offering value and you're serving rather than selling. But a lot of people I've found are kind of very cautious about when to take their proposition to market. So like, oh, I don't know, is it insensitive, is it not? Have you had any kind of feedback?
Are you talking about people who want to launch something new?
Yeah, I've found a lot of people have come to us and said, look, we need to do something with our site. But at the same time, when do we hit the go button? Because they keep almost saying, oh, we'll try tomorrow, we'll try tomorrow, we'll try tomorrow. Oh, actually, at some point, we just have to pull the trigger and do this thing. But at the same time, they don't want to come across as insensitive.
I really think it depends what you're selling. So I had a company that I spoke to last week that are in a B2B space, and they're selling certain types of office equipment. Okay. So they often sell into bricks and mortar. They do a lot of field sales. That's not a good fit for them. So there's no real issue of, is it the right time or the wrong time? It's like, we need our business to work. I don't think that's an issue whether you can compassionately or not sell office equipment. People either need it right now or they might not need it right now. I think it really depends. And you and I both, I think we both know it depends on what people are the proposition. And some of you, I'm not sure if anyone here was on the talk that I did with Norfolk Network last Thursday about how entrepreneurs respond to a crisis. It's available on the Sell Beyond YouTube channel, and I looked at examples from Goo, the product people, the product dessert people, and Twitter, and a bunch of entrepreneurs from East Anglia, and they all said, in the middle of a crisis, just pull the trigger, do what you've got to do, and just make the business work, and don't dither too much.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? And there's also an element of authenticity there. I mean, even with us today, like we were chatting before we've come on here, like we are just ourselves, we are just at home, we're not in our suit and tie and whatever, like we're just normal people having a conversation, and people buy from people, right? They buy that authenticity and honesty.
I hope so. And just for the people joining the webinar, I'm just waiting another minute for people to actually join. So Nathan and I are shooting the breeze here, but we will actually start the webinar in earnest in about 1 minute time. The Q&A is open, so you can send questions and answers if you wish. If there's anything you want us to cover that is a burning question for you, and you can also ask questions anonymously, so don't be afraid to do that. We will probably respond to them verbally rather than writing back in the chat, but do avail yourself of that. Right, okay, 1 more minute, and I'm just going to put my phone on silent so I don't get any crazy bleeping noises. Okay, so this is just to make sure everyone knows where they are, making sure we're on the right.
They've Zoom bombed on a wrong webinar.
Yeah, right. This is the one we're supposed to be on. We are indeed. Nathan Lomax from Quickfire Digital, Eloise Finch from Sell Beyond. We are indeed on E-commerce, the new normal, grow your e-commerce on Amazon and Shopify webinar. It's not just two people having a chat in the privacy of their own homes. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'd like to start with introducing myself. For those of us who haven't met before or connected with me on LinkedIn, I'm Eloise Finch. I'm founder of Sell Beyond. We're a multilingual marketing agency that specializes in growing brands on Amazon in English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and Dutch. Welcome. Please let me introduce my co-host for this afternoon's webinar. This is Nathan Lomax.
Hello everyone. Firstly, that proposition was absolutely nailed. What a pitch that was. That was very good.
What's your pitch, Nathan?
Yeah, well, I'm still working on it. No, essentially, we're a digital transformation agency. We specialize in WordPress and Shopify. And as well, certainly the last few weeks, we've seen huge uplift in WooCommerce and Shopify and Shopify Plus. So hopefully today, the main thing is to talk less about myself, but more about Shopify, e-com, the huge opportunity. And while, as we were chatting before we came on here, actually, it's really important that while we've got to exercise sensitivity, there's also a massive opportunity around the corner. It's important we can all try and make the most of that opportunity.
Right, exactly. So we're all faced at the moment with a new world order, if we're going to be a bit over the top about it. Things have changed, and the focus of today's session is responding to this change. So the 5 areas we're going to cover: your website and product pages on Amazon are a tool, but for what? How can you stand out from the crowd and get found either on Amazon or on a website and e-commerce platform? What are 5 key numbers you need to know from my side and from Nathan's? Some of them lap over, some of them are a bit different. How do you spend less money on advertising? And stop racing to the bottom already. Discounting versus value. After the webinar, there'll be a pop-up form when you close the Zoom. I'd love you to click on it, please. It allows you to give us some feedback of how we've done, anything else you'd like to suggest from webinar themes. And you can also make the choice for what's appropriate for you. Sell Beyond, we're offering free Amazon listing consultation if you want to get help with writing a product page. We've got further free webinars you can attend. And I'm happy to jump on on a call with anybody to have a strategy review about where are you right now with your Amazon, where do you need to be. From Nathan's side, you can connect with him to get a free audit of your website or a free one-to-one on how to grow your e-commerce business. So once the Zoom call ends, there'll be an option to get the pop-up. Please do send over some feedback and let us know what you think. So to jump into the meat of the webinar today, times have changed. There are new needs and new opportunities in the market, and people are buying in different ways. There are some short-term decisions being made. People are buying because they're working at home. A lot of places of work are closed. Supermarkets are prioritizing certain categories above others. In some ways online, we have a captive audience right now. And I just want to stop there and jump on. Nathan and I have just posted in the last few days on what we're seeing both on Amazon trends and on Google Analytics in terms of what people are searching for. Nathan, do you want to share some of your findings from what you posted at the end of last week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look on LinkedIn, we've posted lots of things there around Google Trends. And I mean, the big thing is that, as to be expected, really, the first week was people just throwing things in the air and going, crumbs, what's going on? What's this new life? How am I going to cope? But we've actually seen a really interesting shift where people have started to realize that, wow, perhaps this is the new norm. And all of a sudden, interests have changed significantly. So just over the Easter weekend, for example, I mean, I saw that on your post as well, in terms of trampoline sales, all those kind of outdoor gardening sales, picnic stuff, like brilliant. The big thing for us is how people's proposition is becoming no longer relevant. And I think we'll touch upon that in a minute. Like essentially Google Trends, it's a free tool for anyone that's listening and wants to go and check it out. I really recommend you do. But essentially, while I will have an opinion and you, Eloise, will have an opinion, I've always said the only opinion that matters is the customer's opinion, the people buying the products. So rather than us trying to create some kind of weird hypothesis, yeah, let's have our ideas, but let's back our decisions up with data. So get on Google Trends, get on analytics, see what people are searching, and then adjust your proposition accordingly.
That's a great point. So on for those of you that do have an Amazon account, you can go into brand analytics, which is one of the reporting tools. And what I found when I looked yesterday, 2 weeks ago on Amazon, everyone was searching for hand sanitizer and face masks and loo rolls. Those are still important searches this weekend. What are people searching for? Top searches is hair clippers, barbecues, paddling pools. So people have suddenly dialed down the panic. They're looking for mass consumption again. Everybody's got a haircut problem, and so on. So if you are on an Amazon space, you can go in that. It's the equivalent of Google Trends in a way. What people are searching for, the top 5,000 searches. So you'll know whether there's a daily, weekly, monthly search there. You can see how your product category has been trending over time. And I think, Nathan, you'd agree that we have to look at, all of us as business owners, is our proposition still fit for purpose? So I'm just going to switch on to the next slide so everyone knows where we are.
Just one thing, Eloise, if I could, I just wonder, if you don't have an Amazon account, are you able to still look at that tool? Because I think it's really interesting when doing any digital marketing. Yes, you can look at Google Trends. Yes, you can look at Amazon, but actually looking at both and doing a bit of cross-referencing would probably be quite useful to say, actually, you know what, we think Google Trends is saying this. What's Amazon saying? Oh, they're saying something similar. Or actually, no, our proposition needs to slightly adjust when we're selling on Amazon as opposed to selling through the website, right?
If you haven't got an Amazon account, you can't look at the trends. However, what you can do on Amazon, and I'm sure everyone's experienced it who's purchased on that channel, if you start typing, just like Google, if you start typing in the search bar, Amazon will give you 5 or 6 pre-filled options of what people are looking for right now, popular searches. So if you're looking for, I don't know, let's say hair clippers, it might say hair clippers for men, hair clippers for dogs, you know, whatever. And then you'll get a sense of what people are looking for. Also, if you search for something and then click onto it and click onto a product page, Amazon will offer you also people who looked at your product also searched for, and that gives you a bit of consumer insight on what are people looking at right now in this area, because that will change depending on the category and what people are selling. I mean, hair clippers. There's always data that we can find for free, right?
Hair clippers for dogs is pretty niche, right? But I guess if there's a market, then
depends if you've got dogs.
Yeah, why not?
If you've got dogs, that's pretty important right now, I should think. You can't send them to the pooch salon, right? So I'm gonna let Nathan start from this. Your website and product pages are a tool, but for what? Would you like to take this away, and I'll bring you back to the video in a sec?
Yeah, love to. I think the big thing for me is that most of the calls we've had in the last 3 to 4 weeks have all been people calling up saying, look, we were originally going down this way. Everyone we talk to normally has a strategy already in place, right? The challenge we've got is that strategy may no longer be fit for purpose because we were preparing for a world which, unless you're some kind of, mystic kind of somebody that knew what was happening in the future or storyteller, like nobody knew this was coming, right? So actually a lot of businesses are going, okay, my plan was to go here. Actually, now the whole world has shifted and now we've got to go over here. And in order to do that, sometimes we're looking at sites and going, you know what, this is just all wrong. Like what you're trying to sell here, the journey you're trying to take your customers on, even the story you're telling, maybe isn't what it should be. Now we're in a new world. Maybe you need to adapt and change. And that's the main thing I wanted to get across to people today, is that if you can do anything, if you take one thing from the stuff I say today, it's just to go back and have a look at your site and just check the proposition is still fit for purpose, right? We are in a different world now. Is that proposition still fit for purpose, and will people still want to buy your products or services?
Okay, I've got a dumb question, Nathan. Isn't every e-commerce website the same? Like you just showing products to buy?
I mean, that's unfair.
Every Amazon page is basically the same, right?
Yeah, you've got to play with it's got fundamentals, right? But at the same time, the big thing that differentiates, and actually that's a really nice point. One thing that people miss out on e-com is we almost go sometimes too down the route of get people in funnel, buy product, try and upsell, sell, remarket, etc. And the big bit we miss is story, right? At the end of the day, everyone's got a story. I saw when we were coming on today, we've got the most wonderful clients, a mother and daughter, selling the most fantastic sustainable lipstick. I'm sure, well, I hope they won't mind me talking about it, but essentially, if they do, they're too late, but they're lovely. And anyway, the point is that one of the things that makes that brand so special is the story that they're telling, right? And that's something that in e-com, a lot of people miss. They miss the part of the story. And so that's another thing. When you're looking at proposition, yes, most stores are similar in terms of we want to sell more product, but actually how stores differentiate is how they take the user on that journey. How do you tell that story?
So can you give an example for just to illustrate ways of telling a story on an e-com website?
For sure. So the story I always share is one of Bremont watches. So Bremont.com, beautiful luxury watches based down in Henley in London. The story of how Bremont came about, at the end of the day, people buy from people, as I'm sure you find as well, right? While I do go onto a site and I am normally strapped for time and I do quickly make a purchase, I actually do, and this might be a generational thing, I don't know, but I absolutely will see who's selling the product and what their story is and why I should buy from them as opposed to someone down the road. Because sometimes I'll even pay more for a product despite actually I could get it cheaper over there. I don't want to because I buy into that person. I buy into that story. They're a young entrepreneur. They've done this. And then the story of Bremont, I mean, an amazing story. I'm led to believe the father sadly passed in a plane accident and they managed to salvage a piece of the plane and it's in part of the watches. I mean, the story of Bremont watches is absolutely stunning. And I believe the chap that was found, the father, was kind of looked after until he sadly passed by Monsieur Bremont, and this was kind of almost left in his legacy, and an amazing story.
And I've just had just had someone in the Q&A. Suzanne White said, "You're glad you're mentioning us, so maybe we should."
Hey, I really panicked. I said it, and I was like, "Oh no, maybe I shouldn't talk about it." But
why did we talk about that brand?
Yeah, so Juni Cosmetics, lovely brand. Like I say, mother and daughter. I met them probably 6 months ago. And again, another story that I was just blown away by. Not just the product. I mean, there's a massive opportunity right now for sustainable products, and they don't come much more sustainable than a lipstick. And for any ladies listening, I really recommend you go and check it out. But for me, the main thing was that it was a story that the mother and daughter bond that kind of come together to create this brilliant, unique product was amazing. And I'm wishing them every success. And hopefully we can play a big part.
I think that's really great. And I think on my side on Amazon, so the great thing about Amazon is it's really easy to get onto. It's really easy to set up a product page. The hard thing is to figure out how to tell your story within the constraints of the character limits and the way that the pages are set up and the way that Amazon SEO is set up. And where you possibly have more ways to tell a story on an e-commerce website because you possibly have more creative ability. On Amazon, everybody has the opportunity, if they're a brand owner, if you own the brand that you sell, if you're not selling Cocoa Pops or Nike shoes, to add what is known as A+ content. So if you browse on an Amazon product page, you'll see the picture, see bullet points. You scroll down, you have an area, if you're the brand owner, where you can put logos, you can put founder story, you can, depending on the marketplace, put videos. And this is where you can showcase why you and why should we care, above and beyond the specific benefits of your products. Like, what's the story? And many people selling on Amazon aren't using that space. And it's a real opportunity to make yourself stand out from the crowd, because we know with Amazon, the shelf space is endless, but so are your competitors.
I mean,
so
the only thing I would say kind of on the other flip side of that coin is you can go too much story, right? And we lose the purpose of why we're there in the first place. At the end of the day, we've set up a store or an Amazon page to drive sales. So yes, have a part for the story, but don't go so far story. I mean, I see some websites, right? They become so experience-led, which is lovely, but actually you lose the purpose of actually come here to buy a product, and I actually can't check out now because I have to go through all these hoops and watch all these videos and do all this stuff, where actually the fundamental thing we're doing is it's a marketing funnel, right? And I'm sure we'll come to this slide a bit later, but all we're doing is taking them from one part of the funnel to the other. So from prospect over here, cold, through to lead or sale, which is warm. So how do we get them through that process while sharing the story, but not taking them miles off tangent with here's our story, forget about the product you're here to buy?
I think that's a great point. And obviously as people involved in marketing, we would say it, and many of you on the call are in marketing yourselves. Why would you engage a marketing firm? Because they'll give you a second opinion. I have a rule, which is, would my 81-year-old mother understand my proposition? I don't necessarily need to use a marketing agency for my own stuff. I ask my mum, do you have any clue what I'm trying to sell you right now? If she says it's too long, she keels over and is bored to tears. I'm like, okay, I need to go revise that. So all of us, whether we want to engage an agency to help us with our online marketing, or whether we have a neighbour or an uncle that doesn't know anything about your product and probably doesn't care, they will be the ones who will say, you're overselling, you're getting too much detail, give us the short version already. And we all need that second opinion, wherever it comes from.
Louise, that's a great point, actually, that essentially we're providing services for our customers, not just our customer, right? And it's very cliche to say, put yourself in the customer's shoes, but so many people don't do it, right? So I'm sure it's the same in your space.
It's hard to do.
The same in ours. It's such an emotional connection. You're like, but I want the site with pink and purple spots. And you go, well, the customers don't want pink and purple spots, right? That's just stupid. So it's a real hard line to tread.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll just summarize on this bit here. We need to think right now, is your website still fit for purpose? Is your product page still fit for purpose? Are you selling the right things right now? Think about how you're driving people along the marketing funnel. We need to maximize the conversion rate, get people moving on, but also tell your story, and you can't ignore telling your story. One thing we didn't cover then, Nathan, is showcasing your social proof. Do you want to just quickly...
Yeah, massive. I mean, at the end of the day, we've touched upon this a little. People buy from people, but it's no longer just good enough to say, hey, I'm Nathan and I have a great product, right? It's about, what do other people say? Have you got case studies? Have you got testimonials? Can we bring them to life? Can they not just be text? Can they be video? I mean, I just want to know that I'm going to buy this product on Amazon. Okay, it's got 50,000 product reviews. Unfortunately, the world we live in, we're in a herd mentality, right? And you can see this in something like TripAdvisor. I always use this example. When you book a holiday, who doesn't normally just check it out on TripAdvisor? And you read the comments, right? You read that, oh, I found a rat in my room, or I did this, or I did that. And you're like, well, I wouldn't stay there. People are the same with products, right? They go, okay, I can buy this from here, here, or here. Actually, this one over here is more expensive. I've bought into the story, but before I purchase, can I just get that final tick in the box that other people have had a suitable experience? Yes, lovely reviews, great case studies, brilliant testimonials. I will check out and purchase.
I guess I've got one question on that. Other people might have others, so put them in the Q&A. Is there a hard and fast rule? Like let me think, I don't know, like Amazon, loads of reviews, people super participatory, lots of Chinese or English review farms as well. So that's something, fake reviews. Some websites, let me think, like Waitrose or John Lewis, they've got a couple, some of them like Date from 2017, doesn't seem to be very vibrant. Is there a hard and fast rule for what type of social proof I should have for my e-com website? Should it be Trustpilot? Should it be, like, what should I have?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I was on a call to Trustpilot this morning, so I probably should have said Trustpilot. But no, I think realistically, like FIFO, Trustpilot, whoever you want to use, and actually just Google reviews or just a static review, right? The main thing to get across is the trust and authenticity of your product. So having, I don't know, let's say your name's Nathan Lomax, having a review from Mrs. Lomax and Mr. Lomax and the same surname, right? It screams fake. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do, just like in offline, I think too many people overcomplicate it, right? If you went into a store and you were talking to people and you said, hi, what's your name? And they said, I'm Mr. Lomax. You're like, well, doesn't the guy that owned the store called Mr. Lomax? Then I wouldn't buy the review, right? Whereas if someone, Mrs. Finch, says a story and I bought from these people and they're great, then fantastic. So very long answer to your question. No, it doesn't matter. Testimonials, case studies, anything, just get some kind of social proof on there. And most
static text box with the actual name of the person.
Just make sure it's authentic, make sure it's honest, and don't be afraid to ask your customers. That's another thing people miss, is so many people have been so happy with your product or service, yet they don't go back to ask for it. And if you did ask for it, 9 times out of 10, I'm sure someone would love to give you a review, but they don't, because it seems almost offensive. Or again, I always look at businesses like, I don't know, a takeaway or something. How often do you have a takeaway, go online and say it was a great takeaway? Never. How often do you have a bad takeaway, go online and slate it? All the time. And that's the thing, right? You need to be asking your customers, hey, how did you find it? Also, how are you going to improve if you don't ask questions?
Great points. I think that's really helpful. So we'll move on to going from the thinking about the proposition. How do we stand out from the crowd? This is the key question. There's a lot of people out there right now. How do we stand out from the crowd? There's going to be some different things between Shopify and Amazon. Let's start with you, Nathan. Ways to stand out from the crowd on your e-com website above and beyond the broader thing of the marketing funnel and the storytelling we were showing now.
Cool. I mean, the one thing I would say is this doesn't matter if it's Shopify, WooCommerce, PrestaShop, like any of them, right? Magento, the principles remain the same. The main thing we need to do is people are time poor. Okay, so the main thing to make us stand out from the crowd is to make it as easy as possible to get from point A, entering the site, to point B, checking out. Okay, so how can we reduce the number of clicks to take them through the funnel? For example, land on homepage, click product, click checkout, pay the money. Brilliant. Not land on homepage, have to scroll down, find product, go into product categories, find the right product, click on it, have to answer a load of questions to get to checkout. It's too slow, people will go elsewhere. So that would be the first thing, is how can we make it as frictionless as possible? The other thing to stand out goes back to that social proof we just mentioned. How can we talk to our customers and say, you know what, don't just take my word from it. Look over here at what all these people are saying. Like it's authentic, right? The other thing to look at would be checkout, a massive opportunity, particularly in Shopify. Look at people's behaviors, right? It's typically on phone, iPads. They're checking out, they're wanting Apple Pay. They're wanting all these smarter ways of checking out. You don't just have to use WorldPay or SagePay or Shopify payments. There are other payment gateways, which I really recommend. Again, going back to that frictionless process. How can we get people to check out as quickly as possible? The big, one of the big things here is remarketing. Okay, there's so much choice on the web now that you pay money to get someone to your site. They have a look round, they jot it down, they leave your site and they go and look elsewhere. You've lost them. But actually, if you implement remarketing, you can follow them for 540 days with your product offering. And it doesn't cost that much money. It's on a pay-per-click basis, meaning, I mean, you've all seen it probably, those listening. You'll look on, you go onto a website, maybe a newspaper website or whatever, and you'll see a banner advertised. You're like, they're those jeans that I was going to buy, but I never bought them. Well, there they are again, right? And they follow you around. Remarketing is incredibly powerful and a great way to stand out from the crowd. And the last thing, Eloise, is probably just answering people's questions. As marketeers, we have a purpose to serve. We're here to help people and educate people. And actually, FAQs, live chat, had a great call with the guys at Yondle this morning, but talk.to, Facebook Messenger, there's loads of them. Just install live chat, put on FAQs, just help your users as much as possible. So they go, you know what?
You have to be up at 2:00 in the morning answering questions about shoe size.
No, not necessarily, because Yondle will have a 24-hour service where they can answer they're on a pay-per-lead basis.
So you can pay people to answer your customer queries.
Yeah, exactly right. All it does is looks at a bank of questions that you've kind of collated and then allows someone else to answer. As you say, I'm not prepared to stay up till 3-4 in the morning answering questions about product. But at the same time, this is why these services exist. And at the end of the day, who knows? That could be your biggest client that just happens to be doing childcare, can't sleep, looks online at 3 a.m., wants to engage in a new Amazon campaign or website, and I wouldn't want to miss them. And why would you?
Great points. Thanks very much. I think on Amazon, some of the problems are limited. Amazon has the most insanely sticky process for getting you to remember what products you were looking at, what products you were buying, as we know. So as a seller, we can trust. That's why we give Amazon 15-20% of our retail price and referral fees, is because they are covering out the checkout process, which is great. However, the social proof, again, in your A+ content, in keeping a regular tabs on, are your customers asking questions? So on the product page, you have your photos, your bullet points, you have A+ content, you have customer Q&A, and then you have reviews. So customers, potential customers may well ask Q&A about, does the product do this? What are the ingredients? There'll be, for me, it's always a trust issue. If the company selling the product is never answering the Q&A, but it's always other consumers. That for me is like, why is this company not directly engaging with its consumers on its key site? That's something that somebody in your team or you should go and have a look at every other day, or spend 2 minutes just checking that, because again, the social proof for Amazon is really key in it, and it builds trust, because when you answer a Q&A, that answer appears when you scroll down. If you reply to a review, you have to click on the review to see what the reply is. And if it's a negative review, it's really hard to see if the company has replied. So the Q&A section is definitely somewhere to put the social proof out. On Amazon, I would say, to get your products to stand out from the crowd, we want to make sure especially that the words that your customer will search, the pain points that they have, will be what you've put in the words of your product listing. That's like the starter for 10 on Amazon marketing, Amazon SEO. That's what makes your products discoverable. and it makes them desirable, because a lot of Amazon is in the pictures and the words. Are you responding to pain points? Are you responding to what actually people search for? And in some ways that can be different to what people search for on Google. They say that Google is a bit more research intent and Amazon is purchase intent. So maybe depending on your product category, people actually might be searching for quite different things. They might be doing a lot of research on Google. They might be more in buying mode by the time they come to Amazon. Okay, so let's just pause there a sec. That's a lot of data. We've looked at how to stand out from the crowd. It's a big crowd. There's different platforms. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ping in the Q&A about what we've covered so far? It's a broad old thing, but I think one of the standout themes is the social proof and allowing people to answer questions and answer and ask questions.
I think that's one thing I would add, Eloise, on that social proof is just taking time to say thank you as well to those that do to leave a testimonial or a review.
That's a great shout.
Either thanking them for positive or even negative feedback, right? At the end of the day, any feedback's a gift. So thank them and deal with it appropriately. That can sometimes be so telling, even if an experience wasn't as you'd hoped, right? And we all have those, okay? We've all had experiences where we've gone, that hasn't gone quite as I'd hoped. At the end of the day, sometimes you're judged more on how you deal with that and the response you give, as opposed to, and you're always going to get trolls, right? People are just there to be difficult, but actually take the time to reply. Thank you. This is what happened. But yeah, just don't get into a slang match is all I'd say.
And for those of you on Amazon, you may not know it, but almost every time when someone leaves you a review, either positive or negative, you can click on that reviewer's name and you can see everything else that they reviewed. So I've worked with clients before where they've had a really negative review and we've clicked down and found actually that person was quite genuine and all the other stuff they reviewed is positive. So we have to deal with that negative review, and depending on how the person's name comes up, you can Google them. You know, if people have actually put their real name, you can Google them. And it's much easier to engage with a reviewer like that. If you contact them off Amazon, contacting them on Amazon is against Amazon's terms of service, but you can engage with people offline, and it may be they may be willing to change their opinion for if you try and resolve the matter. So that's a little known tip, is to click the names of people that reviewed your product, and you may be able to find out how to reach them and engage with them and say thank you. Well, we've just got 2 Q&As come up here.
Where do you want to start?
So, can you see the questions here, Nathan?
Yeah. Sally, first one.
Okay, so Sally asks, have you had any experience of Etsy? I've heard that Amazon Handmade has lots more hoops to jump through as a seller. So Amazon Handmade, you pretty much have to prove you're an artisan whittling boats from wood. It's a really, really high bar to get into. Amazon Handmade are trying to get into the Etsy space. I know people that sell on Etsy. It's not a platform I deal with personally, though I have seen companies do it. I think it's much easier. I know local companies in the area that are doing engraving on cups and sports equipment and shields. They sell those on Etsy. The bar is pretty low to getting in. I know a great company in Norfolk that are doing homemade cosmetics. They're on Etsy. My understanding from my own customer and conversations that it is a lot easier. Amazon Handmade has a really high bar. So we've got another question.
Sorry, just very quickly on that.
Go ahead. Did you know anything about Etsy?
I'd just say, no, one thing I'd say is that specialists rather than generalists. Let's not pretend that we're suddenly Etsy consultants, but all I would say is in a generic marketing forum, essentially it's about split testing. Just because customer A has had a great experience with Etsy, it doesn't mean customer B will, and vice versa, right? So for Sally, I'd say for the cost of your time and essentially a bit of resource maybe to set something up on Etsy, I would give it a go. I think it's a pretty cost-effective way to say, is this a marketplace which is fit for purpose for me? Or actually, is it not? But I think it would be wrong to base your opinions on everybody else, because at the end of the day, everybody else isn't you or your product.
Yeah, I think it's quick. It's definitely quicker to set up. Give it a go. Depending on what you're selling, Amazon Handmade may be a really good fit, but it does take longer. So we've got Ryan here. Nathan, you mentioned people being time poor. Are too many variants for products a potential fatigue causer? Would a product with 2-3 variants be as better as separate products? Wow, that's deep dive into how you put your products.
That's a really great question, Ryan. Actually, products with variants can be fine. The biggest thing I find with products with variants is actually the back end management of it, not even the front end management of it. What I would say is 2 to 3 variants, let's say color, right? 2 to 3 variants within color, fine. But if you're doing color, size, variants like that way, then I would say actually, yeah, 2, 3, absolutely max. Otherwise, you need an inside leg measurement to sell a product. Also, Ryan, the only thing I'd say to that is it depends on the price point of your product. Some people, if they're spending thousands, will be prepared to configure the product a bit more, right? You look at B&Q selling kitchens, they're going to be answered a few more variants than if you're selling wallets, right? So just think about the price point, and then you could hopefully relate that to the amount of variants useful. I hope that helps.
I would say actually the opposite is slightly true on Amazon. I work with a lot of sellers who have set up their store from scratch themselves and added product variants. On Amazon, it's much, much better to group your products into size variants, color variants, perfume variants, whatever it is, on one page, and have all of your variants on the same page. That means all of the reviews from your different products will all appear on the one page, and it's kind of like and your products will be found easier, because if you've had loads and loads of sales on variant A and much fewer on variant B, if you configure them all under one parent ASIN, which is the technical term, and put all the others as child ASINs, it's much, much clearer for the consumer. They can see one product, see all the others, and all the reviews will be grouped. So I would say on Amazon, the more variants, the better, and you can have them all outlined in drop-down menus or little squares, depending on how you want it. And it's much, much better to group them together rather than keep them separate on Amazon.
I guess final thing on Ryan's point is that you could group them by collection or tag or category and filter them that way, as opposed to when you get onto product page, then trying to choose all the options. So for example, you could have already found out all the t-shirts focused on a certain brand, and then when you get into that page, all you've got to choose is your color and your size, as opposed to having to get to a t-shirt and then dive even further.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Hannah's the last one, I think.
Go for it.
That's an amazing point, and actually, I don't think there is the right answer. Right, at the end of the day, it depends why you've set up your business. Some people will be in business to make money, and if they are, then that's okay, right? You're allowed to make profit, like that is okay. But at the same time, then go after stuff on demand. Some people, money's not a motivator, and that's absolutely fine as well. And actually, if that's the case, then absolutely sell something that you love. And actually, if I had to choose one, if I had to put my neck on the line, I would say just sell something you love to work with or love doing. Because at the end of the day, you're normally at work or working with an e-com store more than you are actually chilling out on the sofa playing video games. So just sell something that you're passionate about, because people can tell, right? Clients can tell that you're passionate about it, and they'll buy into you much more.
I think that's a great point. And I know, especially on Amazon, there are lots of Facebook groups and entrepreneur groups, and I'm certainly happy to send them in your direction. It's not really my area. If you want to set up on an Amazon store, you want help sourcing your products in China or anywhere else, you want help figuring out what the best categories to sell in, or drop shipping, there are lots of expert groups that can help you with that and help you figure out the cost benefit analysis of what's really in demand, what's hot right now, how to predict demand, and how to find the right products. So just reach out to me if you want to be put up in touch with those groups, because there's a lot of experts out there, very, 5, 6, 7 figure Amazon sellers that are ready to share their expertise on that area if you want help figuring out what actually should you sell. Okay, any other questions before we launch into crunching the numbers? This is the really important bit, by the way. Don't jump off now, because this is where we make the hard cash, right?
That's a really good point, right? Essentially, this is the stuff that may seem boring, but at the end of the day is so often overlooked. Just scrutinizing the numbers can make all the difference. Okay, so starter for 10, starter for 1. What is the most profitable product for you to sell? Now, it may sound obvious. Every single time I'm talking with people and with clients, sometimes they've forgotten to check for a while, or sometimes things have gone differently in Amazon. The proposition is different. The delivery charges have gone up. Amazon FBA has increased its charges 5% since the 1st of April. Is it still profitable for you to sell X at Y price? So I'm sure, Nathan, you would also be asking people that for any e-commerce channel. Are you selling the right thing? Absolutely. What are you selling? What are you making margin on? What's your best sellers? How can we promote these? How can we bundle some products that aren't doing so well to try and push revenue? At the end of the day, if you're not doing that kind of thing, all you'll have is stock issues when it comes to warehousing and distribution. You'll just have masses of excess of one product and hardly any of the other. So it's really important to use best sellers, to use the data, and to try and encourage people to buy a range of product.
Awesome. Okay. I think before we jump into all of the jargon of the sessions and the conversions and stuff, maybe it'd be a good fit just to remind everybody what a conversion funnel is, whether it's e-commerce and Amazon. Do you want to talk through this, Nathan? I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I love to. I talk all day about funnels, and actually this is one of the most important parts, and I love it. Essentially, the e-commerce and yeah, kind of commerce in general is very simple. We have to take someone from point A, which is the top of the funnel, to point B, which is the bottom of the funnel. And at each point or checkpoint, as you see the bands of colours, they're just different opportunities to reinforce the sale, right? So in our world, it would be, okay, let's have a discovery session after a call. Okay, let's get them to sign a contract. Let's then commit to the sale. In the e-commerce world, it may be, let's get them on the site. Let's get them to get onto a product. Let's get the customer to read some reviews. Let's then get the customer to add something to basket. Let's then try and upsell and let's check out. So I think it's really important when we're looking at e-commerce, all we're looking to do is sell the next step. Okay, we always overcomplicate it. All we need to do is get them from the blue hopper to the purple hopper, the purple to the ready pink, pink to the yellow, and our job is done. We don't need to take them straight from blue to yellow because they might not be ready. Okay, I don't know about you, but rarely, I mean, a little bit different for e-commerce in terms of normally you're going on with a bit of intent, but certainly if I go onto some sites, I'm not going, great, I know exactly the product, exactly the size, and I know it right now. Sometimes I need a little bit of education. I need to know, okay, what is this product? Great. What are other people saying about this product? Great. I'm now ready to purchase.
No, I think that's really great, Nathan. And in fact, on Amazon, although it works a bit differently, everyone knows you search for something on Amazon, then you get 15,000 product pages coming up, and then you have to decide which ones to click on. So the funnel is slightly different, but people will be faced with a search bar and a range of choices, and then they'll go down to who has actually brought your product. We can't tell on some versions of Amazon, depending on how we're selling, we can't see the add to cart on Amazon. If you're on vendor, you can see basket abandonment. If you're on seller, you can't. But the principles are the same. We have to get our things come up in the search. If we're on Amazon, make sure that people view it and then make sure that they convert. So on that road, we've got a lot of jargon here. Let's have a chat about some of these. Both of us have got conversion rate as an important thing. You've also got a bunch of others. I would say for Amazon, if we just go back to the funnel here, sessions is if somebody has searched for product, let's say a coffee cup, how many sessions is how many people clicked on your product page as opposed to the 10 others that came up. So sessions is who saw your picture and your title and then clicked on page. And that's something that we can measure to figure out how many people are actually seeing your product in a month. So that's where changing this little funnel into numbers we can actually test and measure is really important. Nathan, do you want to go through some of your awesome jargon here?
Yeah, the three most.
I have no idea what it means, so I hope other people are good with this. But I know it's important, so we're going in.
Right, so the three most important numbers in digital marketing are as follows. CPC, which stands for cost per click, CPA, which stands for cost per acquisition, and CR, which stands for conversion rate. So cost per click, how much does it cost me to get one person onto my website? Okay, what does that cost? And normally that's through a Google ad or potentially social, etc. What am I paying per click? Okay.
We're not always paying, right? Sometimes we're just having organic content.
Having said that, organic still takes time. And yes, it's harder to track, but it is nothing worse than when people say it's free. It's free. It's not free. You're going to spend hours and hours building links and trying to create metadata and stuff like that, right? So it is
awesome content on Instagram that's going to lead people to exactly. That takes time.
It still takes time and it still costs money. But I get your point. The main one for me is cost per acquisition. And everybody should know this, right? How much does it cost to get a new customer? And essentially the flip of that is how much can you spend to get a new customer through the door? So I know, for example, I can spend typically 10% of project size or project on acquiring that customer. So that might mean in an offline world, going for dinner, going for lunch, inviting them to an event, paying for some kind of marketing material, whatever it may be. But I encourage you all to work out your cost per acquisition.
How does that work out? Okay, I've got a website, right? I've spent $2,000 on a website. I'm paying for hosting every month or whatever. How do I work out my cost per click? And I've got also Steve L, who's raised his hand. Do you want to jump in on that? Do you want to talk? I don't know if you want to talk or just ask a question there, Steve. I have unmuted you. But was that deliberate, Steve? Or you just...
It was an accident, sorry.
Right, go back on mute. Out you go.
Love it. I thought we'd be Zoom bombed. I was like...
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, lower hand, right, put you down there. Okay, so we were on...
We were on cost per acquisition and cost per click and how you work it out, right? Essentially, the other one you need to bring into the mix is conversion rate. So I'll try and do a bit of an example, okay? So, okay, imagine you've got 100 people coming to the website. Okay, 100 people and they cost £1 per click. Okay, so I should probably have a bit of paper, but I'll try and remember it in my head. So you've got
100 people coming to the website.
100 people come to the website, okay? Your cost per click is £1, so you're spending £100, and your conversion rate is 2%. Therefore, 2 in those 100 people are converting, right? Meaning your cost per acquisition is 100 divided by 2. Yeah, cost per click, amount spent versus amount of people got. So 100 divided by 2 gives you 50. So your cost per acquisition is £50. Now, if you're selling product at £7, well, then that model just simply doesn't work. You need a lower cost per click to make it stack up. And that's why when you're doing any digital marketing, we always advocate, while we don't do it ourselves necessarily, is looking at forecasting, right? If I'm going to put money into this, just imagine a machine. If I put £5 in, can I get £10 out? And sometimes the numbers just won't stack up. So another example may be same model, £100 in, 2 conversions, but actually your product sells a £500 of product. Well, happy days. I'll keep sending more £1 traffic, right? No problem at all, because I can generate sales.
So is cost per click and cost per acquisition only relevant if you're doing paid ads?
Yeah, normally if you're doing paid ads, absolutely. So when we're looking at Google ads, when we're looking at social, I mean, like you say, people will drive customers through organic as well. That's great. But if you're ever doing any paid marketing activity, driving traffic, I would always advocate those 3 numbers: CPC, CPA, and CR, conversion rate. And CR is the big one, okay? Because actually, the myth is that actually to get more customers, you just drive more traffic. Nonsense. There's a massive opportunity to make your website sweat harder. So how about you dial up your conversion rate, add live chat, make the header sticky, do all these things to actually make more people purchase. Then all of a sudden, let's go back to our analogy, £100 spent, you're not got a 2% conversion, you got 4% conversion. Everyone still with me? Essentially, you then got £25 cost per acquisition rather than 50.
More profitable, fundamentally.
Exactly. So then it's a no-brainer. They're like, perfect. Okay. So I haven't spent any more. I've still spent £100, but actually my cost per acquisition is now 25, not 50. So that's the big thing. Focus on conversion.
I would like to jump in terms of conversion rate for Amazon. It's one of the key metrics that we like to use at Sell Beyond to figure out, did people buy more? And it's one of the key metrics that a lot of people don't know where to look for on their analytics and don't know what to do with. So if you go into business reports, you will find a bunch of data about how your sales are doing, and you can look month on month, week on week, quarterly, as you wish. You will find conversion rates. That's how many people hit the product page, clicked on it, and then actually bought. And conversion rate, typically under 10% conversion rate is called unit session percentage on Amazon. Under 10%, you really need to boot camp your marketing. Above 20, that's pretty good. Better SEO, better pictures, better videos, better A+ content will improve your conversion rate and mean that if you're running ads, they'll be more profitable and that people will like the stuff that you've got and they'll stay on the page longer to buy it. So I think for both of us, we would probably agree, Nathan, you've got to look at that more than anything else, rather than just throwing money at advertising without looking at people actually stick around and buy.
I was writing this little thing yesterday and I said, imagine you've got a bucket, okay, and you've got your objective is to fill your bucket with water. Do you, and you start filling the bucket, you realize it's got a hole in it. Do you fix the hole or do you just keep pouring water in? Right, and that's the conversion story, okay? Stop just pouring water in until you fix the hole, until you improve conversion. Fix conversion, fix the bucket, and then you can chuck all the water in you want. But until then, it's wasted.
Okay, so if there's one take home from everybody, fix the bucket already. That's all you need to know. That's what's going to get more efficient working on your marketing. Okay, we're just going to move on.
Just got a question there. From Dahlia saying, good conversion rate, 2% is the industry standard. If you can get more than 2%, then happy days. I know on Amazon it's different, as Eloise just said there. 10% you guys are working on.
10% minimum you want for your product pages, yeah.
Web is 2%. So, and actually that sounds pitiful. And actually that's always a bit of a pessimistic stat, right? If we can get more, we get more. But at the end of the day, if you do all your calculations based on 2%, see if it works, then you can only be in a positive situation going forwards.
Awesome. Okay, I think we're just gonna jump to the next section here because time is ticking on. We are going to move to stop spending money on ads. Okay, we've had to talk about organic content. We've got ads. I think the answer to that is fix the bucket already before spending money on ads. But once we fix the bucket, what do we need to do? Spending less on Amazon ads, just turn off dynamic bidding and cap the bids at 40p. Cap the bids at 20p. Like, that's the take-home message is you do not need to be spending £1.50 a click. You can spend 20 or 40p and you can still get return on investment. If you're hemorrhaging money, that's a really good place to start, and create exact campaigns. Don't let Amazon do auto ads for you. Figure out what people are searching for and put your search terms into exact campaigns. That would be the hot tip for me, and to stop spending money on ads. And just try turning them off already. If you're not getting really good results, turn them off, regroup, reset some campaigns, start again. I know, Nathan, that you'll have some things to say about running ads.
Yeah, the only add to that really is that ads have a place in your marketing mix. They will absolutely have a place, but the big thing for me to get across on today's webinar is they're not the only thing in the marketing mix. Okay, so very, very important to be running social ads, Google ads, etc. But it's not the only thing. I see far too many businesses, they become reliant. It's addictive. It's like a drug, right? Once you work out that model and you know you can keep putting money in and getting money out, you just keep using it. One thing that I always think about is what happens if all of a day Google changes its ads algorithm? Which happens? What happens if social just decides to change and stop playing ball? Or what happens if there's another factor that happens and all of a sudden your whole traffic source is shot to pieces? So I always say prepare a marketing mix, but have many different channels, not just putting all your eggs in one basket.
So what other channel could we use? We've got ads, we've got our website. What else should we be thinking of?
You've got SEO, you can use organic, you can use referral. I mean, there's still a place for offline, right? And at the end of the day, I see all these people, there's still a place for advertorials, for kind of, PR, like that still has a place in the market. Partnerships, conversations. I mean, wouldn't it be lovely if we could get to what I know you and I love this in terms of being very human and having conversations with people, depending on the cost per product. If you're selling fridge magnets, I don't think conversations are the way for you to go, because you'd have to have a hell of a lot of conversations to make it stack up. But if you're selling products at $5,000 plus, or even $1,000 plus, well, yeah, jump on the phone with these people, strike up a relationship, and then sell products.
That's really great point. I think, and on that last note, the last thing we're going to cover is stop racing to the bottom already. I think we've all been there. Times are hard. Should we be discounting? People have got less money. People are sitting on their hands, or are they? Discounting versus value, Nathan.
I think that, yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's really tough out there. Of course it is. But at the same time, I think that there is still, if you discount now, I saw a brand do this quite recently, actually. All of a sudden, they were offering their product at cost. And I just thought, whatever happens to the people that have bought your product 3 months ago at your rates before? How on earth would you feel that now suddenly that rate is 70% less than what it was? I get you're trying to do your bit, but at the same time, there's other ways to offer value in terms of adding more to the package than taking stuff out. Also, as a business owner, you have a duty of care to deliver a product, and you'll take people through a certain process. So that's a bit like me saying, okay, you can have a website, but we're not going to give you a discovery session. We won't do any designs or wireframes. We'll miss out the bit about testing just to save some money. Well, no, because you're going to be coming straight back to me and kicking off when it doesn't work. But our process is there for a reason. I'll add in extra audits. I'll add in extra time and process and consultancy. I won't take out bits to save cost. And hopefully that's loud and clear for people.
that's really helpful. I think on Amazon especially, a lot of people are try and do voucher deals, lightning deals, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. They're very costly to undertake, depending on how well your ranking is. You can spend a lot of money trying to get on some of those lightning deals or Black Friday deals. So make sure that your marketing and your product pages are up to scratch before you start putting vouchers and discounts and pounds off and percentage off. Because if people don't like what they're looking at, they're not gonna take up the offer anyway. you can really control the value of what you've got and make sure the price is right. And many of my clients will put the price up higher on Amazon than they might on their e-commerce website, for the very reason that there's a perception of value that you want people to get when they're on your product pages. So the same again, you don't need to race to the bottom on price.
Louise, I think one thing you've raised there is quite good, is actually there's a place in the marketing mix for both. It's not like you have Amazon and you don't have a website. It's not like you have a website and you don't have Amazon, right? The two should play hand in hand and complement each other. It shouldn't be you either have this or that. Right,
and for those of us who jumped on right at the start when Nathan and I were shooting the breeze, I think that it's really, what was I going to say? It was, we were talking about whether, oh, I can't remember what it was. We were talking about whether, the thought has got me. If you were there, you were there. You missed it otherwise.
It was a real golden nugget. You missed it. You should have tuned in earlier. It was
watch the replay. Oh, never mind. Okay, I think, does anyone have any further questions to answer right now about what we've covered so far? What I wanted to let everybody know is that we are running some other webinars at Sell Beyond in the coming weeks. We've got deep dive into your Amazon data to understand your consumers. I touched on it a bit this afternoon. A lot of look at brand analytics and your reporting. That's this Thursday at 4. We're doing a copywriting webinar for those of you who want to boss your product pages and want to learn how to do it yourself better. And then on the 30th of April, we're looking at how to launch a new product on Amazon in the UK and in Europe. So that's some subjects that we're going to cover. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to, we would love you to fill in the survey once you've jumped off the Zoom, and tell us what you think honestly, and pick the option that's right for you. If you'd like us to look at your listing on your product page, a strategy review for the business as a whole, where do you need to go? Point you in the right direction, other resources that I know. And Nathan's also got some offers on an audit of the website, or again, a strategy call. I've written here, grow your Shopify, but of course, any e-commerce platform, Nathan can give you a hand with that. Nathan, would you like to add anything else?
No, not at all. I'd just like to thank you, Eloise, actually. I've been sat the other side of these as an attendee, and I've found huge value in the webinars you've been putting out. So thank you. It's been a real honor to share the stage with you today. I've really enjoyed it. And like I say, just to everyone listening, again, it's tough. It's really tough. Of course it is. Just be yourself, keep smiling, and we'll get through it. And I'll see you all on the other side.
Absolutely. We're all in this together. Reach out to either of us if you want to chat to anything. If we don't know somebody, I'll be down, because Nathan is one of the most
if we don't know it, we'll find someone that does.
So listen, have a good afternoon, everybody. Reach out to us if you want any help, and just enjoy the sunshine for those of you in the UK. It's lovely weather out there.
Take care. Thanks again.
Oh, we've got some Q&As. Hang on a sec. Let's
hey.
Those of us are still joining. Late questions in. I
think going up, the first one was from Hannah Clark about money as a primary motivator.
Thanks for all the tips. If money is a primary motivator for selling online, but you still want to build a reputable brand, should you separate a store selling in-demand products? Wow, that's a very philosophical question, Hannah. That suggests that perhaps a broader question about what do you want to do as a business? Where do you want to be? You could do things that you're passionate and also in demand, and finding that sweet spot. We all have to work at that. Nathan, do you have a...
Yeah, I think the thing is that, yes, in theory, you don't want to muddy the waters of your proposition by, you sell picnic benches, but because you've seen that trampolines are soaring, you suddenly start selling trampolines as well, right? Then it becomes really confusing, and you probably are causing detriment to your brand. So I think, yes, if money is a primary motivator, there is no reason to set up a little spin-off store. I'd have to ask you your motives. Why? I get that money might be a motivator, but it shouldn't be the only motivator. I mean, right now, the main body out there should be trying to serve rather than sell. So just, what is your product? Have a conversation with you after, as I'm sure Eloise would, but what is the product you're trying to sell? And then let's chat it through and say, okay, how can you find better opportunities with that product, as opposed to trying to find the new shiny golden ticket down the road, which maybe isn't the right way to go.
And also, I'd cut it the other way. I'd be like, what do you want to do as a business? Like, what drives you? What really do you care about in the world? And how can you make that into an online selling proposition? There's products that are in demand that are very highly priced. What really, really motivates you, and make that into your business. And then and then you can find a way of making it profitable. And there are lots of people out there to help you. I would also start looking at what do you really care about.
I mean, that's a great shout. And Eloise, you and I talk a lot of late evenings about this, right, with beer in hand, saying essentially, what is it that really gets our juices flowing and gets us up in the morning? If you don't have that, then why would you want to put in the extra hours and extra grind? Because there's no doubt it is tough. There is no simple formula that suddenly means you wake up tomorrow a very wealthy person. The kind of overnight success story is 1 in a million, 1 in more, right? So actually it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of grind. So you really have to enjoy what you're doing.
And I might give you an example from my story, Hannah, that my primary motivator is to make order out of chaos. So the thing I really love is creating a lot of unstructured data, which basically is Amazon as a platform, and ordering that and marshalling that into something we can make decisions from. I could be running an Amazon marketing consultancy, which incidentally I am, or I could be being a data analyst job in a financial firm. But I'm not. I'm running an Amazon marketing consultancy because that's a business opportunity. I get to be the boss, but I get to do the thing I love, which is making order from chaos. And that's how we use our values to drive the business that we want to run. And so perhaps that might be a good thing to consider in your sense. What's the real motivator? Why do you want to get up in the morning? And then build the business around that works for you. Any other questions, or are we good? Nathan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I think we're good. I think we won. Thank you so much for those still on. Really, really happy. If you're on the catch up, I'll be sending you emails as well, so don't think you've got out of it. Really great to have you on board. Thank you so much. Oh, third or more questions here, but hopefully that's people saying awesome. Thank you both. Hey. Brilliant. Good job. Cheers, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Take care. Bye-bye.